You know what's funny? I was thinking recently that every major watch brand has that one watch that everybody's obsessed with. I'm talking about the Submariner, the Speedmaster, the Royal Oak, the Nautilus. And I don't know about you, but I'm kind of bored about talking about the same watches over and over again. And I am definitely guilty of doing that. I feel that hidden in the shadows of these icons are secret gems. Watches that are just as good, if not better, that nobody really talks about or appreciates. So today we're going through underrated watches from iconic brands, as the title suggests. We're talking about the forgotten heroes, the quiet legends, the ones collectors should definitely start talking about a little bit more and should definitely know about. But let's get into it. Now, starting off with Rolex, of course. Now, I was thinking about mentioning the Explorer 1. However, I feel like amongst enthusiasts, the Explorer 1 is actually not underrated and it's very much appreciated. But the Explorer 2, I feel, is appreciated a little less than the Explorer 1. Whilst everybody is chasing the Submariner or the Daytona, no one's really going after the Explorer 2, and I feel that that is the real Explorer's Rolex. No rotating bezel, no hype, just pure function. It's the watch that people who actually go outside would wear. The 24-hour hand, the fixed bezel, the design that's been quietly cool for decades. The white polar dial in particular, I want to mention here, is absolutely stunning, and it's the anti-hype Rolex, in my opinion. You won't find this one on a wrist of a celebrity or in a music video, and I feel like that's why real collectors love it. It's rugged, it's iconic, and it's still flying under the radar. Let me know if you're a fan in the comments of this watch. Now, if you're still watching this video and you're enjoying it and you're a fan of my previous videos, please do consider liking, subscribing, and hitting the bell icon. It really helps the channel and it will make my day. Thank you all for the support so far on the channel. Moving on to number 2, we've got Omega, and of course we always talk about the Speedmaster and the Seamaster. I'm one who always talks about the Seamaster, so I'm guilty, I apologize in advance. But the Railmaster, I feel, is the forgotten triplet. The quiet genius of the 1957 trilogy. Originally built for engineers who worked around magnetic fields, it's pure utilitarian charm. No bezel, no fuss, just clean lines, vintage inspiration, and a movement that laughs at magnetism. The modern Railmaster nails, I think, the everyday tool watch vibe without shouting about it. It's Omega stripped back to the core. It's pure function, pure heritage, and pure soul. However, the new releases of this year, I feel, are kind of stepping away from the DNA of that original Railmaster. Don't get me wrong, really good looking watches. Certainly more of a modern take on the Railmaster, but for me, that vintage model, the original aesthetic and the original DNA of that Railmaster will always be unbeaten. I feel that they've kind of gone away from that with their new releases. Let me know in the comments if you're a fan of the Railmaster, because I certainly am. Now, moving on to Tag Heuer, and this is the Carrera 39mm Glassbox chronograph, specifically the purple dial for me. And I feel that this brand certainly does get a bad rap sometimes, but this watch, this series, I feel, is a return to form for Tag Heuer, and certainly underrated and underappreciated. And the purple dial version, I feel that this is the most fun Tag has had in years. Domed crystal vintage proportions and a dial that changes with the light. I feel it's modern heritage done perfectly. It's bold, it's colorful, it's the kind of watch that reminds you why Tag used to rule the racing scene, and I think they are due a resurgence, and I think we are going to see that in the next couple of years, especially with, you know, releases like the new Formula 1, Chronograph. Yes, overpriced, but they're having a lot of fun with it, and watches that I absolutely love. If it wasn't so expensive, I would have definitely picked one up. But if you've written off Tag, I feel like this release and this line may make you rethink that. Let me know in the comments if you're a fan of this. Maybe a little bit overpriced though. Just gonna throw that caveat in there. Now, moving on to Cartier. We always talk about the Tank and the Santos when we mention Cartier wristwatches. But the Drive de Cartier, I feel, is a secret gentleman's choice. It's Cartier through and through, you cannot deny that. The sculpted cushion case, which is very unique, not many watches that have this shape. The elegant guilloche dial and the Roman numerals that look like they're melting into the metal. It's got character, it's refined without being pretentious. It's the kind of watch that whispers class instead of shouting luxury. This particular model has an open case back as well, which I'm a huge fan of. I love seeing the movements that keep those hands moving around the dial. If you want a Cartier that flies underneath the radar, this may be the one for you. Also, a special honorary mention to the Santos 100. I absolutely love that watch. Now, moving on to Breitling, we've got the Premier B09 Chronograph 40. Now, this watch is proof that Breitling can do elegant vintage charm as well as bold tool watches. Hand wind movement, 40mm case, pistachio green dial, which is to die for. I would have never considered a pistachio green dial until this watch. It's pure wrist candy in my opinion. It's not a pilot's watch, it's not a diver's watch, it's a watch lover's watch. You have to see this watch in the metal. I went to Bicester recently and they have an outlet store Breitling do out there, and they didn't have the pistachio one there to see, but they had the black dial version, and the details, the finishing, it's absolutely quality, and I feel like you need to see this watch in the metal to fully appreciate it. And so whilst everybody's, flexing their 46mm Navitimers, this one is quietly winning, I feel, the beauty contest with regards to Breitling. Now, moving on to Longines, we're not talking about the Spirit 39mm, we're talking about the Spirit 37mm. This might just be the best everyday watch Longines makes right now, and yet no one really talks about it. You've got the cost certified movement, perfect proportions, and a level of finishing that I think punches way above its price, but that is what I feel expect now from Longines because of how great their recent releases have been. It's one of those watches that feels instantly right the second you put it on, and I feel it has better proportions than the 36mm Rolex Explorer. It's a brilliant watch to be wearing on a day-to-day basis. I feel like the Spirit 37 is what happens when heritage meets restraint. And honestly, I feel like it deserves a little bit more discussion, a little bit more praise. We often talk about the 39mm and the chronographs in this range, but this one is certainly a great choice. Now, moving on to Grand Seiko, a brand that I don't really talk about enough, really. This is the SBGW283 Kishun. We often talk about the Snowflake, the Shumbun, as well, but this might be the most beautifully simple watch Grand Seiko makes. The soft blue dial inspired by the first winds of spring, the perfect 37mm size case for everyday use. No date clutter, it's peaceful, balanced, and artistic, of course, is what we expect from Grand Seiko dials. It's the kind of watch that doesn't need to impress anybody. You wear it because you appreciate quiet perfection, and certainly this is the one that I feel isn't really mentioned much. I mean, to be honest, a lot of the watches in Grand Seiko's catalog are not talked about enough. We often go, as I mentioned, to sort of talk about the Snowflake 37mm, as well as, of course, the spring drive version of the watch. Why? They are absolutely beautiful dials, but Grand Seiko do so many, and this is one of them I feel that are a little underrated. Now, going to IWC, a watch that I had a newfound appreciation for after visiting the boutique here in London, after being invited by IWC, which, by the way, is unbelievable. And thanks to you guys, I got the invite. So you guys are the power behind me, and hopefully you keep supporting the channel. The IWC Mark XX is the purest form of the IWC's pilot watch DNA. Understated, legible, and perfectly sized. The bracelet on this is stunning. It's so comfortable. I wore it throughout the duration of that video, so make sure you go check that video out. It's the kind of watch you can wear with anything. You have several dial variations, black, green, and blue. You can wear it with a blazer, you can wear it with a flight jacket, no gimmicks, no fuss whatsoever, and an absolutely brilliant movement, might I add. Just timeless functionality executed beautifully, and I feel like in 20 years time, this watch will hold up and look absolutely stunning. The more you wear it, the more you appreciate it, and that's certainly what happened that day when I did get the chance to wear it. Now, moving on to Tudor, we often always talk about the Black Bay, divers, and GMTs, but the Black Bay 36 I think is their hidden masterpiece, especially if you're looking for a Garda watch. It's compact, refined, and versatile with that perfect blend of sporty and smart. I think it has Rolex Explorer vibes, but with maybe a slightly cooler, modern edge, potentially. I mean, it's not trying to be flashy, it's trying to be a forever watch, a watch that will always be sort of in trend, a watch that will always look good no matter what sort of era or whatever trend we may be in. And I think it kind of nails that kind of whole everyday Garda watch. Let me know in the comments if you're a fan of this watch. No people often talk about this, nor do I ever really see people wearing this watch, but I do think it's growing on me, put it that way. Now, moving on to JLC, Jaeger-LeCoultre. I'm getting a little bit better, guys. Come on, give you some credit. The master control date. I think that this is never talked about. We often talk about, of course, the Reverso Duoface, the ultra thin, but I feel like this is the definition of quiet luxury. This doesn't shout for attention, it radiates quality. Every curve, every dial texture, every click of the crown feels intentional. It's pure horological maturity. You buy this watch for yourself. You do not buy this watch for anybody else. And I love that. Whilst most brands fight for attention, this JLC just sits back and lets the craftsmanship do the talking, and that is a true sign of a great watch. So there are my picks of secret gems from the most iconic brands today. Watches that deserve way more love from the biggest names in watchmaking. Now, let me know in the comments which one surprised you the most in this list. Do you feel that actually I'm wrong and most of the ones that I've mentioned in this list are appreciated? I don't know. I don't feel they're talked about enough. Also, let me know in the comments if I've missed out a hidden gem, a very clear and obvious one that you feel deserves a bit more appreciation, that you may actually own and think that, hang on a minute, people need to give this watch a little bit more credit and they deserve some more flowers. Put it that way. If you've enjoyed this video, as usual, please do like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Follow me over on Instagram as well at Jogs Watches. You can follow Jogs Watches. I don't know who that might be, but if you follow at Jags Watches, I'd appreciate that a little bit more. I have been Jag from Jags Watches, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.